Hey guys, welcome back to New Beard Aquatics with Andrew. Today we're going to be talking about spawning mops and how to make them, use them, what fish they can be used for, what fish they're not used for, all that type of stuff. So if you're interested in that, make sure you stay tuned. So, you're interested in breeding your fish, I hear. Well, came to the right place. Spawning mops are very useful for spawning fish, as is in the name, but only really a particular type of fish. They work very well with egg scatterers, like tetras, danios, rasboras, not angelfish, rainbow fish, things that are going to be throwing eggs out and don't really have any parental care. Those are the fish that these work very well for. Depending on the fish, like with my Celestia Pro Danios, I keep them sunk at the bottom with no floating because the fish will swim over the top and they'll spawn and the eggs will drop down. And since they're not adhesive, I have a little cup that they're in and I can just remove out all the spawning mops, twirl them around, and all the eggs will fall out and I'll be able to raise up the eggs to fry and eventually adults. Whereas with, say, rainbow fish, most people like to have them floating, and you can float them through many manners of ways. One would be using some cork, some styrofoam, some pool noodles, bobbers that you have for your fishing lures and whatnot, fishing lines. There are lots of things. Just wanting to make sure that it is safe for the aquarium and it's not going to be releasing any toxic chemicals or debris into the tank. Fish that this wouldn't really work for are, say, like angelfish, rams, African cichlids, things that are either spawning and taking care of them on like a hard surface. So think like rams or angelfish, they're actually laying on a flat piece of rock or slate or leaf. And African cichlids that are mouth rooters, they don't really have any need for this. They can also be very useful if you're floating them for fry protection, for, say, mollies or guppies or platies or any live bears, gadiids, those type of things. That this artificial material or artificial mat of plants that you're making basically will allow the fish, the baby fish, to swim into and hide away from all the adults that would be potentially going after them to try to eat them. So these are can be very good things to incorporate into those tanks if you're trying to breed guppies or platies or mollies or gadiids or things of that nature. So making them is pretty simple. I've already made one just to be able to go like bada bing bada boom, I'm done type of deal, but I'll show you really briefly how it's done with a very small set of yarn. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your acrylic yarn, because you don't want to use any natural fibers because those will start deteriorating and breaking down once they're in the aquarium. So take your acrylic yarn and all you need to do is wrap it around something. I'm using my hand because I'm using these for Celestia Pro Danios, so that I want really small, tiny mops that I already have in hand, basically. That's what I'm doing with this. So I'm just going to take it, wrap it around. I usually do like 20, 30 times. Just wrap it, wrap it, wrap it. Once you're done, you will cut the end off of the yarn, which I'm not going to do because I'm not actually going to be using this. You would then tie off one area, like say this top part up here, and you would take your scissors and cut through this part, and you would be left with something that looks like this, where you have a bunch of little yarn strands draping down and a long strand that you left, or you can make if you need be, that you can actually grab and move this around with. I'll actually show you guys some of the situations, or the one situation I'm using this in, because I only have one breeding tank right now, but how I'm using this my Celestia Pro Danios, so you can get an idea of what it is being used for. Here are the spawning mops that I've cut previously using the same method that I showed you guys out there in my Celestia Pro Danio tank. So just to give you guys a little visual representation, the spawning mops are all interlaced at the bottom with a rock, weighing them down the center so they don't float up and the plastic doesn't float up. And the fish will come over top, they will swim around here, the males will show for the females, the males and female will go into here, they'll spawn, and then they'll come out and they'll go back around, and they'll just do that in the morning time. Alternatively, one other thing that you could do to have them be floating is you would just have them have that rubber or flotation device at the top, and it would hang down and drop down this way. But because the Celestia Pro Danios are non-adhesive eggs, this works out a lot better, because then all of the eggs get caught in this little catchment basket that can then be moved down to my other tanks down here for grow out. Like I said, this can also be used for killifish or rainbow fish, and those are usually floating in the water column. And like I said before, you could take any type of flotation device really, and all you'd want to do is take that, put it in the middle here, latch it in, and then you would want to tie it off so that it is trapped up here, and you have your floating spawning mop. So I hope that was helpful for you guys. If you guys have any other tips or ideas around spawning mops or things of that nature, drop it in the comments below so that way I can learn some more about this, because I'm always learning, even after, always learning. Never stop learning. So if you guys have anything that you would think would make this a better system, or any tricks that you have for spawning mops, leave it down in the comments below. Make sure you guys like and subscribe the video, and if you guys want to see how to breed Celestial Pearl Danios, make sure you check out that video and other videos that I have about my Celestial Pearl Danios. Alright guys, I'll see you later. Have a blessed one.